So let's finally talk about The Photograph. So this movie is a black love type movie, and it stars Lakeith Stanfield, Issa Rae, Shantae Adams, and Elon Noel. I hope that I'm pronouncing his name right. And this movie is about Michael, a journalist played by Lakeith Stanfield, who is doing a story based off of a woman in an old photograph, in which it leads him to discover a long ago romance between two people, as well as finding a potential love interest in the daughter of the woman in the photograph, May, played by Issa Rae, who is also finding out more about her mother than she ever knew, and also discovering that the past can sometimes repeat itself in others. Now, honestly, as a movie guy, I don't really find myself loving or wanting to see many romance flicks, but with this one, I was very interested in it and was very excited to see it. And with that, I really wanted to love this movie, but that clearly just was not the case for me. Now, this movie had a really good story to work with and could have exceeded in extraordinary ways, but just failed on its execution. Now, I don't mean to start off on a bad note, but one of the huge flaws of this movie was that the romance was not believable. It seemed like the actors weren't really into their roles because they weren't giving convincing performances. And I felt more invested with the mother's love story with Shantae Adams and Elon Noel in the roles rather than the daughter's romance. And honestly, that storyline seemed more interesting than the main one, and I would love to have seen that in its own film. And to me, if you're doing a genre type movie and you fail at delivering that specific content within that genre, you've kind of failed at your job. Simply put, if it's a comedy, it should be funny. If it's a horror, it should be scary. If it's a drama, it should have heavy conflict. And if it's a romance film, there should be a believable romance. And I'm not just poo-pooing on the actors, because the actors are really good actors. I love Issa Rae, and I think that she has something special and could have an awesome career in Hollywood with being a really sought-out actress. And I do enjoy Lakeith Stanfield, even though he has some odd mannerisms in his performances. He still is very intriguing as an actor and very good at his job. So I don't really quite know if they weren't into the roles and or these actors were just the wrong pick for this movie, and maybe other actors could have made this movie way better with the performances. And Lil Rel Howery was actually not bad in this movie, and even though he was not in it as much, I really enjoyed his performance and loved when he was on screen because he brought a comedic aspect to the film, and it wasn't overbearing, but it was done in a natural, organic way that I really did appreciate. And Rob Morgan and Courtney B. Vance also did really good in this. But honestly, this movie was not all bad. I love the way that it was shot and how it looked. I mean, it looked incredible. It shows the beauty of being black, and it was done well, and I just love the way it was captured. I love the feel and the overall tone of everything. But at the end of the day, the believability of the romance was kind of a deal breaker for me, and it really strays me away from revisiting the movie anytime soon because it just wasn't that appealing to me. This movie is a miss. It had the potential to be an awesome and great black romance film that is high quality and just how it looked and shot and just the story and all that stuff, but it just had that one thing that did not work that really just took me out of the movie and just lowered my enjoyment of it. But if you feel like you want to check it out, go ahead, check it out.